Welcome back. So many people see Bitcoin as, just a digital ledger, a record of who owns what. But that description really misses its most revolutionary characteristic.
Yeah,
It's truly programmable money.
exactly. It's not just about sending value. It's about sending value that only unlocks under specific conditions you've actually coded in.
Right. No banks needed, no lawyers, just like immutable logic.
Yeah.
That's what we're diving deep into today, Bitcoin script. It's this simple yet incredibly powerful language that really makes Bitcoin's trustless nature possible. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, our mission here is basically to break down how this foundational logic works, and importantly, why it was designed with certain, let's call them limitations, and how it's evolving, powering the future of DeFi.
You'll really see how deliberate the design is. It's fascinating, right? Because every single transaction on Bitcoin isn't just a simple transfer. It's governed by a small program, a script.
That's right. This little piece of code defines the conditions for spending those funds. It could be requiring certain signatures or maybe even time locks, things like that.
And that's how Bitcoin manages to operate without needing, the traditional banks or central authorities.
And the mechanics themselves, they're almost deceptively simple. It's a deliberately minimalistic language. It's stack-based, so last in, first out. And it uses reverse Polish notation.
Like the old HP calculator, so 3-5 OPA a day.
Exactly like that. You push values onto the stack, then an operator like OPED comes along and acts on them. These OP codes are basically Bitcoin's verbs. OPUP duplicates the top item. OP-chi-chi-sig is a big one.
Right, that checks the digital subtree.
Yeah, it pops a signature and a public key off the stack, verifies the signature against the transaction data, and then pushes either true or false back onto the stack. Simple result.
Okay, but here's where, for me, it gets really interesting. Bitcoin script is intentionally non-Turing complete. Now, for most programming languages, that sounds like a huge drawback, doesn't it?
Right.
We usually want maximum flexibility. So why? Why would Satoshi deliberately limit it like that?
Ah, yeah, that's a key point. And it's precisely where the genius kind of lies. The lack of loops or recursion or complex flow control isn't a bug at all. It's a critical security feature.
A feature? How so?
Because it guarantees predictable, finite execution for every single script. This prevents malicious actors from creating infinite loops or, denial of service attacks that could just bog down or even cripple the network.
Ah, okay. So you know exactly how long, or at least that it will end.
Exactly. It prioritizes security and robustness above all else.
Yeah.
And you need that for a system securing, potentially trillions of dollars down the line. Think of it like a fortress built on simplicity, deliberately unhackable by certain kinds of computational trickery.
Okay, so we've got these powerful little programs, these scripts, telling Bitcoin how it works. But how do they actually, interact with the money itself, the value moving around?
Right. That's where Bitcoin's unique UTXO model comes in. Unspent transaction output.
Yeah, explain that a bit. It's not like a normal bank balance.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Think of your Bitcoin not as a single balance in an account, but more like a collection of discrete digital cash bills. These are your UTXOs.
So if I have a $20 UTXO and I want to spend $12.
You essentially spend the entire $20 UTXO. The transaction consumes it, and then it creates two new UTXOs, one for $12 going to the recipient and one for $8 coming back to you as change.
Got it, like breaking a physical bill.
Precisely. And each of these UTXOs has a script pub key attached to it. That's the lock. It defines the conditions needed to spend that specific UTXO.
And the script sig is the key.
Exactly. To spend it, you need to provide a script sig in your new transaction. This usually contains data like your digital signature and your public key. When the Bitcoin node combines your script sig, the key, with the UTXO script pub key, the lock, and runs the script.
If it ends with true on the stack, the funds are unlocked and the transaction is valid.
You got it. The most common type you see is P2PKH, pay to public key hash. That's this lock and key dance in action, basically locking funds to the hash of a public key.
But, Bitcoin hasn't just stayed the same since 2009. There have been major upgrades. SegWit and Taproot really stand out, right?
Oh, absolutely. Huge advancements. Segregated witness, or SegWit, back in 2017, was massive. It primarily solved transaction malleability.
Malleability, right. That was the issue where someone could slightly alter a transaction signature before it was confirmed.
Yeah, changing its UNET ID, its TXID.
Which sounds subtle, but it was a huge headache for building things on top of Bitcoin, wasn't it? Like Lightning Network.
Exactly. It made building reliable payment channels incredibly difficult because the transaction you were building on could suddenly have a different ID. SegWit fixed that by separating or segregating the signature data of the witness from the main transaction block.
And that unlocked Lightning, essentially, made it much more robust.
It really did. It fundamentally re-architected how transaction data is stored, making the whole layered ecosystem we see today much more secure and feasible. It was foundational for scaling. Plus, it introduced a witness discount, lowering fees for users.
Okay, and then came Taproot in 2021. That brought Schnorr signatures and EST, right? What do those do?
Yeah, Taproot was another huge leap. Schnorr signatures are great because they allow for signature aggregation. Multiple signatures in a complex transaction can be combined into one single signature.
More efficient.
Much more efficient, and also better for privacy. And MAST stands for Merkleized Alternative Script Trees. This lets you encode complex spending conditions, maybe multiple different ways a coin could be spent into a tree structure.
Okay.
But crucially, only the actual spending condition that gets used needs to be revealed on the blockchain.
Whoa. So a really complex multi-sig setup or maybe some kind of smart contract settlement?
Can end up looking like a simple, standard, single signature payment on the blockchain.
That's huge for privacy. And efficiency, I guess. Saving block space.
Both. Taproot cleverly combines Schnorr and MAST to create these P2TR, pay-to-Taproot outputs.
Yeah.
The default spending path is just a simple key spend looking totally normal. The complex script logic stays hidden unless one of those alternative conditions is actually met.
So it incentivizes the simple path.
Exactly. It creates this powerful incentive for cooperation, making transactions cheaper and more private by default. Really elegant design.
So with all this talk of layers and upgrades, is coding on Bitcoin, like, stagnant? Some people say that compared to other chains?
Absolutely not. That's a misconception. Development is actually flourishing, but it's happening across multiple layers. By design.
Oh, so.
Well, the L1, the core Bitcoin protocol itself, is deliberately conservative. Change is slow, meticulous, focused entirely on maximum security and decentralization. It's like the bedrock foundation.
Okay, makes sense. Stable base.
Right. But then you have layer 2s, like the Lightning Network, just exploding with innovation for fast, cheap payments. And you've got other platforms built on or alongside Bitcoin, things like Stacks, Rootstock, Merlin Chain, enabling more complex smart contracts, DeFi, even NFTs like ordinals. They're building on top of Bitcoin's secure base.
So different layers for different needs.
Precisely. Bitcoin explicitly prioritizes that base layer security and decentralization. It's got unrivaled security, truly meaningful decentralization compared to many others, and this immutable monetary policy. That makes it the most sound economic foundation in the digital world.
So developers aren't choosing it for, like, flashy features necessarily.
Not always on L1, no.
Yeah.
They choose Bitcoin for its incredible long-term predictability, its stability, its proven security, and frankly, access to the deepest liquidity in the entire crypto space. It's about building for the long haul on the most solid ground.
Okay, wrapping this up then, what's the big takeaway for you, for the listener?
I think it's that Bitcoin script, while seemingly simple, is this unsung hero. It's the core logic enabling this whole concept of programmable money that makes Bitcoin so revolutionary.
Yeah, and those intentional limitations, like being non-Turing complete, they aren't weaknesses.
Not at all. They're precisely what give Bitcoin its incredible strength, its resilience, its security. And that careful design fosters this multi-layered ecosystem where you can have both rock-solid integrity at the base and rapid innovation on top. It really balances the two.
Makes you think, doesn't it? What other things that look like limitations in technology might actually be hidden strengths designed that way for very good reason, something to ponder?